Margaret, I too want to say I should be speaking this piece of legislation, and it's welcome. And I want to salute all the workers in hospitality and across many other range of services as well that maybe some wouldn't be as visible in taxi industry, in transport, and indeed across the whole spectrum. They've had a torrid couple of years, and we all appreciate that. But this bill regarding the tips for people, tips are always given in good faith by people, and it's a, and I won't say it's an Irish thing, but it is an Irish thing because it's voluntary, and and most employers do pass it on, and most employers do look after their employees. And you know, there are a number of us here are employers ourselves, so there are lots and lots of employers that do have good relationships with employees and look after them kindly and fairly. And it's important that this legislation would root out the employers that who would dream of or imagine of taking tips or indeed the service charges that are rightfully entitled to the workers who look after us, front line, and indeed back house, which I think a few of us never recognise. Of course, the receptionists and the chefs and people that we don't really see, and most institutions share, I know, the tips with them. And could I say, while most of my time that I am in hospitality is when I'm at work here in this capital city, and all the many institutions I've stayed in, I've met only the wonderful best of people that look after me. I'm only speaking for myself and others, but myself I can speak for. And they've been looking after. And at present I'm staying at the Martello in Bray, and the staff there are exemplary and kind, caring, and helpful in every way. And I want to thank them for that, because there's no place like home, as we know, and it's like home from home. And that's from the reception right to the kitchen staff and to the house staff and bar staff, everybody else. So it's very important that, and that campaign that was led a few years ago from a restaurant straight down the street here had to be campaigned. And when we all look at the money that was spent in doing up that premises and revamping it and whatever, and then to see that unsavoury treatment of staff, and look, it happened. But I'm glad that I know people brought forward private motions here. I know it's difficult, challenging times for employers, but as I said, when people decide to give a tip, it must be passed on. The difficulty is, I suppose, in where if cashed tips are kept and not passed on, how do you deal with them? It's not dealt with in this bill. Electronic, yes, you can trace them and maybe deal with them. So mention has been made of the WRC and all of that, but it's really to go down that road is very unwieldy and very slow process. I suppose maybe it has to happen, but I prefer that goodwill would prevail and respect. And I suppose respect works both ways. If the employer gives respect, they get it back in spadeful from the employees. So, as I said, on behalf of the Rural Independent Group, we are supporting this legislation, and hopefully its passage will make a change to the employers that are unscrupulous and behave in a bad way, and that the ordinary employers and the excellent staff have that relationship that they fostered will continue. Remarkable.